Welcome to the August Local Area Network report. This month I'll be bringing you information about the Protect Ihumātao struggle in Aotearoa, New Zealand. And it might be worth noting here that the stats for our podcast say most of our listeners are in the USA, so this is intended to be an introduction for those who might not be familiar. This is a fight against indigenous land theft. It's comparable internationally, perhaps, to the Standing Rock struggle in North America. But in Aotearoa, New Zealand, it also has historical precedent, notably the Bastion Point battle in the 70s, which was another fight against development of stolen indigenous land. This fight has been going on for a long time, arguably over a century, but this particular iteration with building company Fletcher's flared up first in 2014 and intensified this year in 2019, with thousands of protectors flocking to Ihumātao in response to a heavy-handed police presence. So I'm going to give you some background on what has happened on that land, and this is drawn from the Protect Ihumātao website, which is Protect Ihumātao.com. So it says, Ihumātao is of significant historical value to all New Zealanders as a site where some of the earliest Māori settlers arrived. It was wrongfully confiscated in 1863 and soon after granted to the Wallace family. In 2014, it was pushed through as a special housing area, or SHA, and sold to Fletcher Residential Limited in 2016. Every one of these events disregarded mana whenua, and that means people of the land. Negotiations with Fletchers over the development were held by people who did not represent most of the community. The law provides no means for us to contest, and we are unwilling to accept a compromise. Our agenda is simple: preserve, not profit. Once this whenua is gone, it will never return. And now, to give a bit more detail on the flare-up that has happened with Fletcher's since 2014, the New Zealand government supported the plans of transnational corporation Fletcher Residential Limited to build high-priced dwellings on stolen land at Ihumātao that was reserved as public, open space. The location for the proposed development is adjacent to the Aotearoa Stonefields Historic Reserve, a public green space listed heritage site with a rich historical, environmental and cultural significance. On the other side, you have the Ihumātao Pā, one of the last remaining original and livable papa kāinga in Aotearoa. And by the way, a papa kāinga is an inherited section of land for housing. So basically on one side you have these beautiful stone fields, and then on the other side you have a section of inherited land for housing. And despite the strenuous opposition of mana whenua, descendants of the landowners have used the profoundly pro-development provisions of the SHA Act to have Puketapa designated for urban development in 2014. The Act fast-tracks development of land for building of houses, minimising the rights of people to object, negotiate or disrupt any development proposed under its provisions. The repeated failures of bureaucratic and political authorities to acknowledge the issues at Ihumātao have left mana whenua with no other option but to resist and oppose the development through peaceful, non-violent and direct action till all legal and political means available are exhausted. There are multiple strands to mana whenua objections to the proposed development, including erosion of cultural and spiritual values, identity damage, economic harms, loss of heritage landscapes, and reduction in urban green open space. Ihumātao is an inappropriate location for such a development, and SOUL, which is Save Our Unique Landscape, SOUL, the campaign group, requests that Auckland Council and the New Zealand government revoke the SHA at Ihumātao. End quote. So that struggle has been going on for a number of years now, but it's now coming to a head with thousands of people occupying, setting up tents. If you want to support the struggle from overseas, you can donate to the campaign group. You can find that online at Action Station Protect Ihumātao. That again is Ihumātao. And I myself am a New Zealander living in Australia, so my support has been limited to online donations and signal boosting. But if you do live in Aotearoa, you can also attend or donate goods. Then again, if you live in Aotearoa, you've probably already heard of the struggle. A number of friends of mine have participated in the occupation. There have been protests across the country, as far-flung as Ōtepoti Dunedin, which is in the far south, whereas Ihumātao is in the north. There was a protest that shut down the city of Dunedin. So this is a struggle that is encompassing people from across Aotearoa now. And I thought I'd address a potential criticism of this campaign, which might come from the right or the left, which is that it's a NIMBY struggle, or a struggle against development per se. And it seems more accurate to say this is a struggle against a particular kind of development, which is private, for-profit development on stolen indigenous land. People involved in the campaign have said they're not against development per se, they're just against intensified development of this area, which is a protected indigenous area. Another thing to consider is that this is high rent private housing, and I'm certainly not willing to line up with developers against the mana whenua. Now, personally, I'm in favour of much more mid-density public housing than currently exists, but this is not that. Also, even in the case of a significant expansion of public housing, it would need to be conducted with the consent of the mana whenua. Now, the latest news is that police have reduced their presence to 10 after complaining of spending tens of thousands daily on trying to clear out the mana whenua. And protectors rightly responded that the money could be saved by not attacking mana whenua and their supporters. So it's gratifying that the protectors have managed to hold the line and the cops have been forced to walk back their involvement. Kia kaha, comrades. That means be strong, comrades. Good night and good luck.